A letter found in the snowy Camden Inn shattered our family's warmth. Henry 40. A weary teacher faces his father's harsh decree. You're not welcome at the wedding. Lobster stew's scent clings to the icy Maine air, but a hidden secret threatens to unravel their bonds. This family drama story of forgiveness, not revenge, unveils a truth that could heal or destroy. Will empathy mend their rift? What secrets have you faced? Join us to uncover emotional family stories that resonate. The wind howls off the Atlantic, a sharp, mournful sound that rattles the frost-laced windows of the Camden Inn. Snow clings stubbornly to the clapboard siding, collecting along the eaves where faded Christmas lights still hang ghosts of December, refusing to come down. It's February now, but the town clings to its old warmth, even as the cold seeps through every crack. Inside, the scent of lobster stew wafts from the kitchen, mingling with pine from a wilted wreath above the fireplace. Leora calls radiant at 38, her warmth cutting through the chill. She's at the center table, gesturing me to sit. "Tell me about Seattle," she says, eyes bright but searching. I force a grin, sliding into a chair. "Rainy, busy. Missed this." My voice catches and she squeezes my hand. "You're here now." Her words soothe, but doubt lingers. Does she know about the letter I don't ask? Not yet. The dinner unfolds, plates clinking, lobster stew steaming. A guest raises a glass to Leora, and love cheers erupt. But Dad's silence is a weight. Maris fusses with napkins, her smile tighter. I lean to Leora, lowering my voice. "Dad, okay?" He seems off. She hesitates, then shrugs. "Just stressed. Wedding stuff." Her dodge fuels my unease. She's protecting something or someone. Eldrick stands, tapping his glass. To my daughter, he says, voice gruff, "May her day be perfect." The room toasts, but his eyes skip me, landing on Maris. Her nod is quick, almost a signal. My monologue flares. They're hiding something. The letter wasn't just Dad's call. What's Maris got to do with it? The cliffhanger grips. What's she hiding? I reflect, staring at the festival banners. This town, these people, they hold each other up. Community, a value I'd forgotten, stirs hope. But family? That's harder. Dad's tired eyes, Maris's forced smiles. They're carrying a burden I don't understand. Caregiving maybe for Mom's health. I need patience to listen, not push. Dialogue, not silence, might crack this open. The lobster stew's warmth grounds me, a taste of home I want back. I'll stay dig for truth, for Leora, for us. Snow dusts Camden's Inn the February dawn, painting the Atlantic in silvers and grays. The clapboard walls hum with wedding prep lobster festival posters curling at the edges, their schooner sketches a nod to Maine's heart. Inside, the scent of fresh coffee mixes with pine from a wilting wreath, the fireplace's embers barely warm. I'm Henry 40, standing in the dining room, the letter in my pocket, a splinter I can't ignore. Dad's words. You're not welcome loop in my mind. Sharper after last night's strained dinner. Why ban me from Leora's wedding? What's the truth? I move through the bustle, guests hauling tables, locals swapping festival plans. Big crowd this year, a woman says, pinning a poster. I nod, but my focus is elsewhere. Across the room, Leora, 38, radiant in a scarf, directs chairs with her nurse's calm. She's my bridge to answers, the one who might know. My monologue churns. She dodged my question last night. Does she know about the letter? I can't keep pretending everything's fine. Frustration simmers a tension I've carried since I found Dad's note. I catch Leora by the mantel where that family photo sits me. Leora, Dad. Mom, grinning on a lobster boat, waves wild. It's my anchor, a symbol of what we lost. I clutch at fingers, tracing the frame, a quiet gesture, grounding me. Leora. I say, voice low. We need to talk. Her eyes flicker wary, but she nods. We step to a corner, the inn's noise fading. I pull the letter from my pocket, its wax seal cracked. Found this in the attic. Dad's handwriting. Why'd he write it? Her face tightens, a flash of something guilt. Henry, She trails off, glancing at Dad, Eldrick across the room. He's 68, slumped over a coffee mug, his face etched with exhaustion. Caregiving stress. I'm guessing, though. I don't know for what. It's complicated, Leora says, voice soft. He's under pressure. My frustration spikes. Pressure doesn't explain banning me from your wedding. The emotional hook lands her silence, fueling my push. Talk to me, I press, holding the letter up. You knew, didn't you? Her eyes dart to the photo, then back. I didn't know about that, she says, but her tone wavers. Dad's just protective. The oak floors groan underfoot, each step echoing as I make my way toward the attic. Up here, the air is thinner, tinged with dust, and memories I've spent 2 decades trying to forget. I'm Henry, 40, back in Maine after 20 years in Chicago. Everything in Camden looks the same, but it feels foreign, like I'm walking through a preserved photograph of someone else's life. In the far corner, I kneel before a cedar chest. Its hinges resist rusted from age, but I manage to open it. Inside yellowed postcards, a chipped ceramic lighthouse, frayed mittens, and an old map of Penobscot Bay, trinkets of a family that once made sense. Then I find it a letter, unmistakably out of place, folded with care, sealed in wax, and tucked beneath an old festival program. My name etched on the front in sharp, slanted strokes. I'd know anywhere. Dad's handwriting. Eldrick. I hesitate, but curiosity and dread win out. I crack the seal. The paper trembles slightly in my hands as I read, "We all agreed you're not welcome at the wedding." The words hit harder than I expect. I blink, rereading them as if the meaning might change. But it doesn't. It's final. Brutal. Not a suggestion in exile. My chest tightens. I lower myself to the cold attic floor, my back against a beam as the silence closes in. I stare at the letter fingers, tracing the ink like it might explain itself. Why now? Why this? The attic moans with the wind, echoing a memory from long ago. Dad's voice, hard and gravelly. You're not welcome here. That was 20 years ago after a fight I barely remember. I left. He let me. I told myself time would soften things, that distance was just geography, not punishment. But this isn't distance. It's banishment. My thoughts spiral. Was it my fault? Did I miss something crucial, or is there a secret no one's told me? Below the inn is alive with motion. Leora's wedding is hours away. Guests shuffle in and out. Laughter floats up through the floorboards. I tuck the letter into my coat and descend the stairs slowly, each creak echoing like a heartbeat. In the dining room, warmth spills from the fireplace. Garlands still frame the windows, and a Windjammer Festival poster hangs proudly near the bar, a relic of Camden's tradition. The scent of briny stew clings to the air, comforting and familiar. I spot him. Dad. 68 now. His back is turned, shoulders hunched, fiddling with a linen napkin like it holds the key to everything. His hair is thinner, his frame smaller than I remember, but his presence still fills the room. Maris stands nearby, Mom, her gray-streaked hair tucked behind one ear, her smile polite but strained. She doesn't see me yet. Then Henry Leora's voice slices through the hum. My sister 38, still radiant in a simple sweater and jeans. There's a nurse's steadiness in her strong but kind. She embraces me arms warm, but I feel her hesitation. She knows. About the letter I can't be sure. It's good to see you, I say, and it is, but I can't keep the bitterness out of my voice. You too. Her smile flickers. We don't speak of it. Instead, she pulls me into the rhythm of the day. Can you help with the chairs? I nod, grateful for something to do. As I stack the chairs, I catch snippets of conversation. Eldrick's been stretched thin lately, one guest murmurs. Poor guy carrying the whole family. Is it Mom? Is she sick? No one tells me these things anymore. I overhear them like gossip, a stranger to my own family. A photograph above the mantel catches my eye. It's us, Mom, Dad, Leora, and me on a lobster boat laughing as the waves crash behind us. That day feels like a dream now. We were whole then. I stare at the image, the memory tugging something raw in me. That picture. It's the only proof that once we belonged to each other. Dad glances at me briefly. Our eyes meet. There's recognition, but no warmth. A flicker of guilt or defiance. Dinner begins. Platters of roasted vegetables and cornbread pass down the table. Plates clink. Wine is poured. Leora stands and raises a glass to family together again. The room erupts in cheers, except for Dad. He lowers his gaze. Maris clutches her napkin tightly. Her knuckles whiten. She knows too. I feel it in her silence. I eat in silence, the letter still tucked inside my coat, its presence louder than the room's chatter. My mind hums. What broke us? Was it me or something I don't know? I look again at the man across the table, the man who raised me, then erased me from a moment that should unite us. I need to know the truth, not for revenge, for understanding. I push back from the table and slip outside. Snow falls gently now, soft flakes catching in my hair. The cold air wakes me up. I breathe in deep, the salty Atlantic wind mixing with wood smoke from the chimney. Maybe it's time to stop running. Maybe it's time to ask him why. The town is quiet, but inside the storm between us brews. Tomorrow is the wedding. And tonight I'll decide, do I confront him and risk opening old wounds or let the silence write the final chapter? All I know is this family's break. But they can mend too, if we let them. And maybe, just maybe, the truth will be enough. The Camden Inn glows under a February dusk, snowflakes swirling past Christmas lights that cling to the eaves like stubborn hope. The fireplace crackles, casting shadows across oak beams, while the scent of lobster stew drifts from the kitchen, rich and briny, a Maine embrace. I'm Henry 40, standing in this dining room packed with wedding guests, feeling like a stranger in my own family's story. The letter in my pocket burns Dad's words. You're not welcome looping in my mind. Why, after 20 years, does he still shut me out? I move through the crowd stacking chairs for Leora's rehearsal dinner, my hands busy to keep my heart still. Locals chatter about the Windjammer Festival. Camden's winter pride, their voices warm with tales of schooners and lobster traps. I join them, hauling festival banners from a corner, their canvas rough under my fingers. Gonna be a big one this year, a grizzled fisherman says, clapping my shoulder. Community. This town's heartbeat pulls me in, but I'm adrift. I don't belong here. Not anymore. I think the not good enough trigger cutting deep. My monologue churns. I left at 20, chasing dreams that fizzled. Did I fail them? Is that why Dad wrote that letter? The dining room hums, cousins, neighbors, Leora's nurse friends in sweaters, their laughter a fragile veneer. I spot Dad Eldrick near the head table 68, his shoulders stooped, eyes heavy with a fatigue I can't place. Caregiving stress maybe, though the pieces don't fit yet. He's wrestling with a laptop, muttering about a Zoom call for absent guests. Damn thing won't connect, he growls, jabbing the screen. The room chuckles a light moment in the tension. I step closer, offering Need a hand, Dad. He waves me off his glance, sharp, guarded. A silent scene, his eyes saying more than words. You're not needed here. Mom. Maris bustles by, 65, arranging plates with a smile that doesn't reach her eyes. Her knuckles whiten as she grips a tray, a forced cheer that screams caregiving strain. What's she holding back, I wonder, my gaze lingering. She catches me watching her face flickering guilt, fear. The letter's mystery gnaws. I move to the mantel where that family photo sits me, Leora, Dad, Mom, grinning on a lobster boat, waves crashing. I adjust it, my fingers lingering a quiet gesture, anchoring me to what we were. That photo's my compass, a symbol of bonds I crave. Henry, over here, protective of what I'm about to push harder, when Eldrick's voice cuts through, sharp as a blade. Henry, enough. He's beside us now, eyes blazing, though his hands shake a sign of strain I can't ignore. You come back after 20 years and stir trouble. The room quiets. Guests glancing over. My chest tightens. Stir trouble. You wrote this? I thrust the letter forward, my voice rising. You banned me, Dad. Why? His jaw clenches, but he doesn't take the paper. You failed us, he snaps. Left when we needed you. Failed. The word lands like a stone, cracking something inside. Failed how? My monologue flares. I was a kid running from fights I didn't understand. What did I miss? Leora steps between us, hands raised. Stop, both of you. This isn't the place. Her voice is steady, but her eyes plead. Eldrick mutters, he doesn't belong here, and storms to the kitchen, his limp more pronounced. Caregiving stress, maybe from Mom, weighs him down. Maris, 65, watches from the doorway, her face unreadable, her silence louder than words. The argument fizzles, but the tension lingers, a wound unhealed. I storm outside the main coast, biting my face, waves crashing below. The festival posters flutter in the wind, a reminder of community I don't feel. My monologue digs deeper. Dad's hiding something, and Leora's caught in the middle. That letter wasn't just anger, it's a secret. The cliffhanger grips. What's Dad not saying? I reflect, leaning against the inn's railing, the photo's memory heavy in my mind. Dialogue could have stopped this fight, could have opened truth. I see it now. Words, not silence, heal families. Eldrick's exhaustion, Maris's distance, they're carrying a burden I need to understand. The lobster festival's hum, the town's heartbeat, stirs hope. I'll push for answers not with anger, but with listening. Patience maybe will crack this open. The Maine coast bites harder today. February's snow swirling across Camden's Inn like a veil over secrets. The Atlantic churns below, gray and restless, while the inn's clapboard walls glow faintly under Christmas lights, stubborn against the gloom. Inside the dining room hums with wedding prep lobster festival posters plastered on oak beams, their schooner sketches faded but proud. The scent of lobster stew lingers warm and briny, a fleeting comfort. I'm Henry 40, standing on the inn's porch, the letter in my pocket, a weight heavier than the ocean. Dad's words, "You're not welcome, burn after our fight." His failure jab still raw. What did I fail at? I need answers. And Lyora's my only path. I pace the porch, boots crunching snow, my breath fogging in the chill. Guests bustle inside, hauling tables, their chatter about the Windjammer Festival, a distant hum. My monologue churns. Leora dodged me yesterday, but she knows something. Dad's hiding a secret and she's protecting him, or someone else. Anger simmers, shame creeping in for pushing too hard. I glance through the window, spotting Eldrick 68 slumped by the fireplace, his face carved with fatigue. Caregiving stress. I'm sure now, though, the why eludes me. His hands tremble folding napkins, a quiet sign of strain. Lyora steps out 38, her scarf bright against the snow, her nurse's calm fraying. "Henry, you okay?" she asks, voice soft but guarded. I don't waste time, the emotional hook sharp. "No, I'm not. You knew about the letter, didn't you? I pull it from my coat, holding it like evidence." Her eyes widen, then dart to the inn, where Maris 65 watches from the doorway, her face tight. "I didn't know," Leora says, but her voice cracks. "Dad's just stressed." Stressed. My voice rises, anger spilling. "He banned me from your wedding, Lyora. You're my sister. Why hide this?" The porch creaks under my pacing, the argument swelling. Guests inside pause, their faces turning a silent scene of curiosity and judgment. Lyora's hands twist her scarf. "It's not that simple," she says. "You left us, Henry, for 20 years. Dad needed you, and you weren't here." Her words hit like a wave, shame flooding me. "Left them, I was a kid running from fights." "I didn't know," I snap, voice breaking. "You think I wanted this? Tell me the truth?" The inn's windows frame the guests' stares, their whispers sharp community amplifying our pain. Maris steps closer, her voice low. "Enough, both of you. But I'm too far gone. No, Mom. Someone's lying. Who decided I'm not welcome?" My fist clenches, a gesture anchoring my rage. The porch is cold, biting my knuckles. Leora's eyes glisten, her voice a whisper. "You're tearing us apart, Henry." The accusation lands shame, drowning my anger. The guests murmur, one muttering, "Eldrick's been through enough." Caregiving stress, their words hint. But what I turn, catching Eldrick's silhouette inside his head, bowed, exhausted. "Is this about Mom?" My monologue flares. "I pushed too hard, but they're hiding something big. That letter wasn't just Dad's anger, it's a family secret." The argument collapses, Leora retreating inside, Maris following. I'm alone on the porch, the Maine coast roaring below, festival posters fluttering in the wind. The cliffhanger grips. Who's hiding the secret? Dad, Mom, Leora. My chest aches, shame for the public fight mixing with resolve. I wanted truth, but I hurt Leora instead. I reflect, leaning against the porch rail, the inn's glow faint behind me. Community, this town's strength, magnified our pain today. I see it now. Truth needs courage, not just anger. Dialogue, not shouting, might unravel this. Eldrick's fatigue, Maris's silence, they're carrying a burden I need to understand. The Lobster Festival's hum, Camden's heartbeat, stirs a flicker of hope. I'll find the secret, not to win, but to heal us. The snowy coast stretches before me, vast and unforgiving, yet somehow calling me home. The Camden Inn wakes under a February hush, snow, blanketing the clapboard walls, softening the glow of Christmas lights that cling to the eaves. The Atlantic whispers below its waves, a steady pulse against Maine's rocky shore. Inside, the scent of lobster stew fades, replaced by morning coffee, sharp and grounding. I'm Henry 40, standing in the inn's quiet parlor, the letter in my pocket, a fading bruise after yesterday's porch fight. Lyora's words, "You're tearing us apart," echo shame still raw, but there's a flicker of hope, fragile as the snow outside. I need to fix this for her, for us. I wander the parlor festival posters curling on the walls, their schooner sketches a nod to Camden's winter festival buzzing today with locals. The fireplace's embers glow faintly, and I pause by the mantel where the family photo sits. Me, Lyora, Dad. Mom laughing on a lobster boat. It's my anchor, though it stings. My monologue stirs. I pushed too hard yesterday, hurt Lyora. But she knows something about that letter. If I can just talk, maybe we'll heal. Hope battles doubt, a tightrope I'm walking. Outside, I hear Lyora's voice, low and firm, coming from the kitchen. I slip closer, catching her with Maris, 65, whose face is tight, eyes red, caregiving stress. I'm guessing tied to some burden she carries. "Mom, we can't keep this from Henry," Lyora says, her nurse's resolve cutting through. Maris murmurs, "It's for Eldrick's sake." A silent scene. Lyora's shoulders square, her gaze unyielding. She's fighting for me, and it sparks hope. I back away, not ready to intrude, but her words linger. Eldrick's sake. I step into Camden's streets, snow crunching under my boots, the festival's hum growing. Stalls line the harbor, selling lobster rolls, festival banners flapping in the wind. Locals share tales of schooners, their voices warm, pulling me into community's embrace. I spot a stranded festival goer, an older woman struggling with a flat tire on her truck, her face creased with worry. "Need help?" I ask, kneeling by the wheel. She nods, grateful. "Missed the festival last year, won't miss it now." I swap the tire, my hands cold but steady, her thanks a quiet warmth. This gesture helping her grounds me, a signature moment of connection. Back at the inn, I find Lyora alone, arranging festival flyers. Her eyes meet mine, softer now. "Henry. I'm sorry about yesterday," she says, voice steady. "I'll talk to Dad. We'll sort this out." Her promise. The emotional hook lifts me. "You mean it?" I ask, hope surging. She nods, fierce. "Your family. You belong here." Doubt lingers. Can she sway Eldrick? But her resolve fuels me. "Thanks, Lyora," I say, squeezing her hand. The parlor fills with guests, Eldrick among them, 68, his face gray with fatigue. He's wrestling with his phone, muttering about emails for wedding vendors. "Stupid thing's frozen again," he grumbles, a tech struggle that draws a chuckle from a guest. I offer, "Want me to check it?" He glares, waving me off. "I've got it." His dismissal stings, but I see the strain in his eyes, caregiving maybe for Mom. My monologue shifts. Lyora's fighting for me, but Dad's a wall. What's he protecting? That letter's just the start. The festival's buzz spills in locals carrying lobster stew bowls, their laughter a contrast to our tension. A guest mentions Eldrick's late nights helping Maris. Caregiving stress clearer now, but the details elude me. Lyora catches my eye, nodding slightly. Our pact holds. The cliffhanger looms. Will Dad talk or stay silent? I reflect. Leaning against the parlor wall, the family photo in view. Trust in dialogue. That's what Leora's offering. Forgiveness starts here. Small steps toward truth. The festival's community. Camden's heart reminds me. Families can mend like this town does every winter. Eldrick's strain. Maris's guilt. They're pieces of a puzzle. I'll solve, not with fights, but with listening. The lobster stew's warmth, the festival's hum, they call me home. I'll wait for Leora's move, holding on to hope. The Camden Inn's kitchen steams with February's chill snow piling against the windows, muffling the Atlantic's roar. Lobster pots clank outside a rhythmic pulse of Maine's coast, while inside the scent of coffee lingers sharp against the oak cabinet's polish. I'm Henry 40, leaning against the counter, the letter in my hand, a blade I can't put down. Leora's promise to talk to Dad. Eldrick sparked hope, but doubt gnaws. The winter festival hums beyond the inn, its banners fluttering, yet here tension coils tighter than a schooner's rope. What's Dad hiding? I wonder the letter's words. You're not welcome, searing my mind. The kitchen's quiet, save for Maris. 65, chopping carrots with a rhythm that feels forced. Her eyes, red-rimmed, betray caregiving stress, a burden I'm starting to sense, but can't name. My monologue churns. Leora said she'd get Dad to talk, but Maris knows something. Her silence at the fight. Her tight smiles, it's more than wedding stress. I clutch the letter, its wax seal crumbling, and step closer. Mom, I say, voice low, we need to talk about this. I hold up the letter, its ink stark against the paper. Maris freezes, knife poised, her gaze flicking to the letter. A silent scene, her hesitation screaming louder than words. Henry, please, she whispers, voice cracking. Put it away. But I can't. The emotional hook tightens. Dad wrote this, banned me from Leora's wedding. Why you were there, Mom? Tell me. Her hands tremble, carrots forgotten. She glances at the door where Eldrick's voice drifts from the parlor, gruff, tired. It wasn't just him, she says so soft I barely hear. My pulse spikes. What do you mean? I press, stepping closer. The kitchen feels smaller, the lobster pots clank a distant echo. Maris's eyes meet mine, glistening, and the twist lands like a storm. I wrote it, she says, voice breaking. I told them you weren't welcome. Shock hits a wave that steals my breath. The letter slips from my hand, fluttering to the floor, a gesture that anchors my betrayal. Mom. My mind reels. Not Dad, but her. Why explain? I demand, voice raw. Maris sinks into a chair, hands wringing. Eldrick was breaking, she says. Years ago he took a loan, a big one for my medical bills. He didn't want you to know, to worry. You were gone, Henry, and he was ashamed. Caregiving stress, her words unveil a burden that crushed them. When you came back, I panicked. Thought you'd dig, expose his shame. So I wrote it to keep you away. Her voice cracks, guilt spilling. I'm sorry. Betrayal burns sharp and cold. She lied to protect Dad's pride. My monologue flares. All this time, I blamed Dad, but Mom orchestrated it. How could she? Yet, her eyes, her pain, it's real. I glance at the letter on the floor, its words now hers. The kitchen's silence is heavy, broken only by festival chatter outside, locals laughing over lobster rolls, I want to shout, but her trembling hands stop me. She carried this alone. Why not tell me I ask softer now? Maris shakes her head. You'd hate him or us. I couldn't risk it. Her words sting, but there's love in them, twisted by fear. Eldrick's voice grows louder, nearing the kitchen. I tense, not ready to face him. We're not done, I say, grabbing the letter, my heart a tangle of shock and hurt. The cliffhanger grips. Why did she lie? What else are they hiding? I step outside the snowy coast, biting my face, festival lights twinkling in the distance. My reflection settles the letter crumpled in my fist. Empathy, not anger, might unravel this. Maris's choice was wrong, but her pain, her caregiving burden mirrors Dad's. The festival's hum, Camden's community, reminds me families falter, but can mend. Dialogue, not silence, is my path now. I'll face them, seek the full truth, for Lyora, for us. The lobster pots clank, a steady call to home. The main shore roars under February's gray sky. The Atlantic's waves crashing against Camden's rocky cliffs, spraying icy mist. Snow blankets the coast, catching the faint glow of festival lights, twinkling in the distance, a beacon of the winter festival's warmth. The air carries the briny tang of a lobster dinner, steaming somewhere nearby, a main comfort that feels distant now. I'm Henry 40, trudging along the shore. The letter crumpled in my pocket. Maris's confession. I wrote it a wound that won't close. She banned me from Leora's wedding to protect Dad's shame, alone for her medical bills. Betrayal stings, but it's the deeper cut, the feeling of being abandoned, that drags me here. I clutch the family photo pulled from the inn's mantel. Me, Lyora. Dad. Mom grinning on a lobster boat, waves wild. It's my lifeline, a symbol of what we were now fraying, like the snow under my boots. The inn fades behind me, its clapboard walls and Christmas lights swallowed by the storm. My monologue churns raw and relentless. Mom lied to keep me away, and Dad let it happen. 20 years, and they shut me out. I was alone, abandoned, when they needed me most. Did I deserve this? The abandoned trigger hits hard, a tide of sadness pulling me under. The shore's solitude amplifies my pain. Festival-goers' laughter echoes faintly, their lobster dinner scents mingling with salt air, a reminder of community I can't touch. I sink onto a boulder, the photo trembling in my hands. My mind drifts to Eldrick 68, his tired eyes at the inn, the caregiving stress. Maris hinted at her illness, his lone, their silence. They carried that alone, too. I think a flicker of guilt surfacing. I was gone, chasing a life in Seattle, ignoring their calls. Did I abandon them first? The emotional hook grips as tears blur the photo. I didn't know, I whisper voice lost to the waves. You should have told me. The monologue spills. I see Dad's face, worn from nights worrying over Mom. Maris hiding her pain to spare him. And me running thinking distance was freedom. I left them to drown. The trigger deepens, sadness and empathy entwining. Caregiving stress. Maris said her medical bills. Eldrick's shame. I recall a guest's words. Eldrick's been stretched thin. The pieces fit, but not fully. I stand pacing the snowy shore, the festival's hum growing as dusk nears. A lobster dinner's aroma wafts stronger, grounding me in Maine's heart. I think of Leora, 38, her promise to make Dad talk. She's fighting for me, bridging our rift. My monologue shifts. They hurt me, but they were hurting too. Mom's lie wasn't hate. It was love twisted by fear. Can I forgive that empathy stirs a fragile bridge over my pain? The inn's silhouette looms as I turn back the photo heavy in my hand. I clutch it tighter, a gesture anchoring my resolve, the signature moment of this shore-bound grief. The cliffhanger looms. What's the full truth? Is there more to Mom's lie or Dad's silence? I need to know, not to blame, but to heal. The waves crash relentless, yet somehow steadying. I reflect snow crunching underfoot, the festival lights brighter now. Compassion, not anger, can mend this. Families break, but they can rebuild like Camden's festival rises every winter. Caregiving stress tore us apart, but understanding it might bring us back. Dialogue. Leora's Way is my next step. The lobster dinner's scent, the town's heartbeat, calls me home. I'll face them not as a son abandoned, but as one ready to listen. The parlor of the Camden Inn glows softly under February's hush snow, piling thick against the old glass panes, muffling the Atlantic's roar beyond the bluff. The fire snaps in the hearth, its light flickering across hand-hewn beams and pine wreaths left from the winter festival. A familiar warmth lingers in the air, the rich scent of lobster stew drifting in from the kitchen, a scent that smells like memory. I sit slouched in a time-worn armchair, coat still on the cold, not yet leaving my bones. My name's Henry, 40 years old, and the letter in my pocket feels heavier than it should. Maris's handwriting still stings. I wrote it. Just 3 words scribbled on paper, now folded and worn soft at the creases. She confessed earlier this evening down by the icy shore, where the wind bit through my coat. She told me the letter, the one that barred me from the wedding, was her doing. Said she did it to protect Dad's pride, to shield him from admitting he'd taken out a loan to cover her medical bills. I listened, nodded, even felt for her. But now, hours later, sitting in the flicker of this fire, I can't stop the ache of questions. Why the secrecy? Why the lie? Why exile me instead of explain? I reach into my coat and pull out the family photo, worn at the corners, water-spotted from years in pockets and drawers. A snapshot from a summer long ago, me, Leora. Mom and Dad, on the deck of a lobster boat squinting against the sun, our faces full of something real. I trace the image, my fingers pausing over Maris's smile, the curve of Dad's arm around her shoulders. It was a good day. That photo became my compass when things fractured, but tonight it feels like a puzzle piece that doesn't fit anymore. From the kitchen, I hear Eldrick Dad, his voice low and edged with fatigue. He's speaking with someone on the phone, something about delivery errors and festival supplies. Even that I realize he handles alone. The weight he's carried all these years, it's finally visible to me. His gruffness isn't anger. It's exhaustion. My eyes close, and a memory takes me by the collar, dragging me back 20 years. It's midsummer. The Windjammer Festival has swallowed Camden, whole colorful sails dotting the harbor, music spilling into every side street. I'm 20 duffel bag at my feet, burning to escape to Seattle. Maris is in the hospital, then her hair thinner than usual, her skin pale under fluorescent lights. She smiled at me. "It's just a scare," she said, but her eyes gave her away. Eldrick stood silently by her side, face drawn, a man fraying from the edges inward. "We'll manage," he muttered when I asked nothing. And I left anyway. Left them thinking they'd be fine without me. Then the memory shifts, autumn, maybe winter. Eldrick at the bank, papers spread across the desk. He's signing a loan agreement, jaw set like stone. The nurse's bills were piling up and Mom's care was costing more than insurance could touch. But he never told me. Never called. I was chasing a career out west, answering less and less, missing the slow silence growing between us. And all the while they were drowning under the weight of caregiving and pride. The memory fades, but it leaves a scar. My eyes open again. The fire hasn't died down. The room is still warm, still alive. I grip the photo tighter, the tremor in my hand, not from cold, but from understanding finally cracking through the surface. I had mistaken their silence for rejection. I thought they shut me out, when in truth they were shielding me clumsily, maybe, but out of love. Maris lied to spare Dad's dignity. Dad stayed silent to avoid burdening me, but it cost us everything. Footsteps shuffle outside the parlor. Maris's voice calls gently from the hallway, aged by time and remorse. "Henry," she says, tentative. I don't answer. Not yet. I'm still holding the weight of that old pain, but also something new, compassion. I look around the room. Posters from past festivals hang slightly askew on the paneled walls, schooners and fireworks dancers on docks. Camden endures. Every winter it freezes, every summer it blooms again. Maybe families can too. The final question grips me like frostbite. What else did Maris hide? Was it only about Dad's shame, or did something deeper fracture us all those years ago? The answer can't come from silence. So I rise slowly, still clutching the photo. I glance toward the hallway where Maris waits toward the kitchen, where Eldrick still grumbles about forgotten spices and cracked crates. I breathe in deeply. The fire crackles beside me. The scent of stew and pine still fills the room. It smells like home, like something worth fighting for. And I know what I have to do. Not accuse, not run, just ask. And listen. The Camden Inn's parlor pulses with February's quiet snow piling against the windows, dimming the glow of winter festival lights twinkling outside. The Atlantic's murmur hums beyond a steady Maine heartbeat, while inside the scent of lobster stew lingers warm and briny, a fading comfort. I'm Henry, 40, standing by the fireplace, its crackle a soft counterpoint to my racing thoughts. The letter folded in my pocket carries Maris's confession. She wrote it not Dad to shield his loan for her medical bills. The flashback of her illness. Eldrick's sacrifice clarified their pain, but questions linger. Why hide it so fiercely? Leora's promise to make Dad talk hangs heavy, and the wedding looms tomorrow. I clutch the family photo, me, Leora. Dad, Mom, grinning on a lobster boat, waves wild, a symbol of what we could be again. My monologue stirs Mom's lie, cut deep, but her guilt. Dad's shame. They're human, not cruel. There's more to her motive, I feel it. Surprise and compassion flicker a fragile shift from betrayal. The parlor's oak beams glow, festival posters curling on the walls, their schooner sketches tying me to Camden's resilience. Maris enters, 65, her face etched with caregiving stress, eyes wary but soft. "Henry," she says, voice low. "Can we talk?" I nod, tense, as she sits, hands wringing. Leora. 38 slips in her nurse's calm, a steady anchor. I asked Mom to explain. Leora says her mediation a bridge. My heart lifts. She's fighting for us. Eldrick's voice drifts from the dining room, fumbling with a wedding slideshow, muttering, "Blasted thing won't load." A tech struggle, his frustration drawing a guest's chuckle, lightening the air. "Mom, why the letter, I ask, holding the photo, its edge worn?" Maris's gaze drops, a silent pause, heavy with guilt. The emotional hook tightens as she speaks, voice trembling. It wasn't just the loan, Henry. Eldrick's pride, his whole life he built for you kids. That debt broke him, made him feel small. I couldn't let you see him like that. The twist lands a wave of surprise. She lied to protect his dignity, not just the secret. I thought keeping you away would save him, she adds, tears welling. I was wrong. Compassion floods me, softening the betrayal. She chose love, twisted by fear. My monologue shifts. Mom didn't hate me. She loved Dad too much to let him fall. Her lie hurt, but it was for him, for us. I hold the photo tighter, a gesture anchoring my heart, the signature moment as my eyes soften. Leora touches Maris's shoulder, whispering, "You did what you thought was right." Her mediation binds us, a flicker of family bonds. The slideshow crashes, Eldrick's curse echoing. "Need help, Dad?" Leora calls, easing the tension. He grumbles, "No, I'll fix it." The tech subplot hums a humorous beat for our heavy hearts. Festival lights glow brighter outside, locals laughing over lobster stew, their community a contrast to our strain. Maris wipes her eyes. "I'm sorry, Henry. I never meant to lose you." Her words, raw, stir empathy. Caregiving stress, her love for Eldrick drove her choice a burden. I'm starting to grasp. "Can we move past this?" I ask, voice thick. Maris nods, hesitant. "I want to try." Leora smiles, fierce. "We will." The cliffhanger looms. Can I forgive Mom's lie, rebuild what's broken? The parlor's warmth, the festival's hum pulls me forward. I need to face Eldrick, hear his side, not to fight, but to heal. I reflect, staring at the photo, the fire's glow steadying me. Family bonds endure even through lies like Camden's festival rises every winter. Maris's motive, rooted in love, shows me empathy's power. Dialogue. Leora's bridge can mend us. Caregiving stress tore us, but understanding it builds hope. The lobster stew's scent, the festival lights ground me in home. I'll seek truth, not blame, ready to forgive. The Camden Inn glows under February's dusk, its white clapboard siding frosted with snow that glitters in the golden light of the winter festival's final hours. Outside, the harbor stretches wide and cold, lobster boats bobbing gently under a string of lanterns, swaying in the wind. The Atlantic crashes in the distance, a constant rhythm, like breath, like memory. Inside the venue, pine garlands wrap the beams overhead, and the scent of lobster stew drifts through the air, a comforting blend of tradition and ceremony. Laughter bubbles in pockets, guests in wool coats arrange chairs and sip hot cider, unaware that beneath the surface, something is about to shift. I'm Henry Carver, 40, standing just past the arch, where my sister's wedding will soon take place. In my coat pocket, a photo clings to my side, a sun-washed snapshot of our family from years ago, me. Leora, Maris, and Dad on the deck of a lobster boat, wind in our hair, eyes squinting against the glare, all smiles. That image is both my anchor and my wound. Tonight I came for a wedding, but I stayed for something harder, for truth, for reconciliation, maybe even for forgiveness. The letter. Maris's confession has long since been folded, crumpled, discarded, but not forgotten. Her words replay in my head. I asked Mom to write it. I thought it would be easier for you to hate her than see Dad in shame. The letter that told me not to come home, that told me I wasn't welcome. 20 years gone, and that lie has shaped half my life. It was Leora who brought us all back together. As a nurse, she's always been the bridge, the balm. And now, just hours before her wedding, she's holding this fragile reunion in her hands. She asked for honesty, said we couldn't move forward as a family unless we cleared the air. So, I'm here because I can't carry this weight anymore. Across the room, Dad adjusts the floral arch. He looks older than I remembered, 68, now thinner, his movements slower, each gesture weighed down by years of caregiving financial strain and silence. His shoulders curve slightly inward, as if trying to shield himself from his own past. I walk toward him, each step heavier than the last, my heartbeat echoing louder than the band warming up nearby. Dad, I say quietly but firmly, we need to talk. Now. He freezes mid-movement, hand hovering near a ribbon of eucalyptus. He doesn't turn immediately. Instead, he glances toward Maris, who stands across the room by the cider table, watching us with wide, hopeful eyes. Leora nearby gives a small nod, silently urging us forward. The guests around us sense the shift. Conversations falter. A few eyes turn. The moment crystallizes. Eldrick Carver finally faces me. His jaw is tight, his eyes tired. What's left to say, Henry? His voice is low, weathered, defensive but not unkind. I don't shout, I don't accuse. I simply reach into my coat and pull out the old photograph, holding it between us. The letter. Maris said you knew. Said you let it happen. I pause, breath visible in the chilly air. Why? His eyes fall to the photo, then rise again, raw with something I haven't seen from him since I was a boy, vulnerability. Because I didn't want you to see me as weak. He finally says the words torn from somewhere deep. I couldn't let you see what I had become, how close we came to losing the house, the boat, everything. That loan, it was for Maris's treatments. We had nothing left. I thought if I could carry it all myself, if I could shield you. He trails off, emotion catching in his throat. I wait. The truth is here, finally, and I won't interrupt it. I failed, son. I failed your mother, Maris, you. I let Maris write that letter, thought it'd be better if you stayed away, stayed free. His eyes glisten. I thought if I kept my shame hidden, it would die with me. I'm silent, letting it sink in. Then I say, you could have told me. I would have helped. You were just a kid, he replies softly. Bright-eyed, going places. I didn't want to chain you here, not to my burdens. But I was chained, I whisper, by silence, by wondering what I did wrong. I carried that letter like a verdict. His face crumples. I'm sorry, Henry. God, I'm sorry. I reach out my hand, settling on his shoulder, rough fabric over years of strain. It's not just forgiveness, it's recognition. Of pain, of effort, of love misplaced but not absent. I needed you too, Dad, I say. We both lost time. Leora steps in, then her presence a quiet grace. You're talking now, she says gently. That's what matters. Maris walks over her hand, slipping into Dad's. We never stopped missing you, she says, eyes full. I'm sorry I didn't trust you with the truth. The air inside shifts, warmth returning, as though the venue itself exhales. Music drifts from the back room. The garlands seem brighter. Someone ladles more stew, and conversations resume, this time with a softness, a reverence for what just happened. As I stand there surrounded by the people I once believed had cast me out, I realize I've never been more a part of this family than in this moment of shared truth. I don't know exactly what comes next. There's still healing to do, still gaps to bridge, but I know I'll be here for it. Not just for the wedding, for us. Outside the harbor glimmers under lantern light. The festival boats rock gently, their hulls whispering to the shore. The Atlantic crashes and recedes, a heartbeat, a lullaby. Home. The Camden Inn sits quiet beneath February's snow, its clapboard exterior catching the last glimmers of the winter festival lights strung along the eaves. Outside, the Atlantic murmurs against the rocky shoreline, a sound I once took for granted, but now hear as a steady anchoring rhythm. Inside the parlor breathes warmth. The fireplace crackles faintly, casting amber light across worn wooden floors, and somewhere in the kitchen, a trace of lobster stew lingers in the air, a scent that smells like memory, like home, trying to find its way back. I'm Henry, 40 years old, and tonight I'm not sure if I'm a son coming home or a man reckoning with the damage he left behind. Earlier today, in this very inn, I faced my father, Eldrick, the man who once terrified me with his silence, and now with a few trembling words opened a wound we've both carried far too long. His voice cracked as he told me about the loan, how he borrowed quietly without pride to cover Maris's cancer treatments, how he carried that weight alone, unwilling to ask for help even from his own son, especially from me. For years I blamed him, for his distance, his coldness. I told myself they didn't want me around. But hearing him admit what he did for Mom cracked open something else, something harder to face, that maybe I had walked away before they ever shut me out. I settle into an old armchair by the hearth, the cushion sighing beneath me. My hand drifts to my jacket pocket where a faded family photo lives. I pull it out. It's wrinkled, softened at the corners, me Leora. Mom, Dad. All of us squinting into the sun aboard a lobster boat. A rare, happy summer. Before the illness. Before I left. It's heavier than paper should be, this thing. It feels like a truth I've tried not to carry. And then it hits me clear and cruel. I was 20 the last time I saw Maris smile without strain. The Windjammer Festival was in full swing, Camden's harbor lined with schooners' sails snapping in the breeze. I was packing for Seattle, full of ego and resentment, convinced my future waited elsewhere. Maris had just come home from the hospital, insisting she was fine. Handled, she'd said, her voice breezy but brittle. She asked me to stay, just a week. I refused, told her I'd call, then shut the door so hard the frame rattled. I never looked back. I ignored their letters, dodged their calls. I built a life far from here, thinking distance meant freedom. Meanwhile, they carried the fight. Dad worked extra shifts. Mom suffered in silence. And I wasn't just absent. I abandoned them. The memory burns. My breath catches as I realize the truth. My absence didn't just hurt, it reshaped everything. Eldrick's resentment wasn't only rooted in shame, it was rooted in grief, in betrayal, in watching his son walk away while his wife faded. I stare into the fire, that image of the past seared into my chest. I thought I came back to ask for answers. But maybe I'm the one who has something to confess. Footsteps echo softly behind me. Leora enters 38 now, wiser than I ever gave her credit for. Her eyes meet mine, filled with a gentle concern I don't deserve. "You okay?" she asks, voice low. I nod slowly, emotion tightening my throat. "I owe Dad more than I realized," I murmur. "I left when he needed me most." She walks over, sits beside me. "You're here now," she says simply. No judgment. Just presence, just grace. Those 3 words wrap around me like a balm. You're here now, but even so, I know the road ahead won't be easy. There's no undoing 20 years of absence, no perfect apology, only the decision to stay, to rebuild. One word, one moment, one act of ownership at a time. The parlor falls silent again. Only the fire remains crackling softly, its rhythm echoing the ocean's pulse beyond the windows. The scent of pine hangs in the air, mingled with traces of stew and wood smoke. I look at the photo again. We were a family once. We could be again. I stand. My legs feel steadier. The guilt doesn't vanish, but it settles shaped now by understanding instead of shame. I will face Eldrick, not to demand anything, not to unearth more wounds, but to tell him I finally see what he carried, and that I'm ready to carry something too. The winter festival fades, but in its wake, something else remains. A stillness that feels like possibility. Camden, this inn, this family, we've all endured storms. But maybe we're learning how to weather them together. And maybe, just maybe, that's enough to begin again. The wedding venue at the Camden Inn gleams beneath February's fading twilight. Snow dusts the clapboard walls, catching the soft glow of string lights draped across the harbor remnants of the winter festival's final breath. Below, the Atlantic hums its constant lullaby, a gentle rhythm pulsing through this corner of Maine. Inside the warmth is tangible lobster stew simmers in the kitchen. Pine-scented garlands stretch across beams, and the murmur of guests dressed in wool and memory fills the air with comfort. I'm Henry, 40 years old. I stand near the center of the room, a quiet observer of something extraordinary, my sister Leora's wedding. In my pocket rests an old photograph, the four of us on a lobster boat, Leora, me, Dad, Mom grinning at the wind. It used to feel like a relic of what we lost. Now it feels like a seed we've watered back to life. What brought us here was not a single event, but a slow reckoning. My apology to Dad Eldrick about not being there when Mom was sick cracked something open. His silence, Mom's well-meaning lie to protect his pride, and my choice to distance myself. We all contributed to the fracture. But the silence broke. Truth found its voice. And today, love fills the space where guilt used to sit. Leora, radiant in her simple white dress, stands at the altar, her calm nurse's demeanor softened by joy. The warmth in her smile is not just bridal happiness, it's the relief of a family mended. Around us, the chatter of guests lingers like the scent of sea salt stories from the harbor festival still buzzing through the hall. Eldrick, now 68, sits beside Maris, 65. Their hands are intertwined, and while the wear of caregiving is visible in the lines around their eyes, something has lifted. On a small projector screen, a slideshow finally flickers to life, photos of Leora, through the years our family's Camden moments, the schooners of the Windjammer Festival. Finally got it working. Eldrick mutters to no one in particular, drawing a soft chuckle from nearby guests. The moment, small and human, is another thread stitched into our healing. Maris's face softens as she watches Leora. The guilt she carried after writing that letter lying to preserve Eldrick's dignity seems to ease under the weight of Leora's vows. The officiant's voice rises. Love is not the absence of pain, but the promise to carry it together. Then Leora speaks. Her voice, always clear in the ER, now trembles with something deeper. Family is my anchor, she says, her eyes finding each of us. Henry, Dad. Mom, you're my home. The words strike deep. My throat tightens. I turn to Eldrick. He meets my gaze, his eyes glassy searching. My feet move before my mind catches up. Dad, I say, standing, voice thick with emotion. I'm sorry I left, but I'm here now. He rises slowly. The weight of years hangs between us, but his arms open. Son, he says, almost a whisper, I pushed you away. I was wrong. Forgive me. We embrace tightly, The moment ripples through the room like wind off the harbor. Some guests sigh, others wipe their eyes. This is the climax we didn't know we needed. Maris joins us, her hand resting gently on my back. "We're whole now," she says, voice shaking with truth. Leora's vows come to a quiet close, her face radiant. Behind us, festival lights blink outside like stars, witnesses to a reunion long overdue. A photographer captures a new image, Leora Eldrick Maris and me, a new family photo. One born not just of blood, but of redemption. The slideshow loops again. Eldrick's proud smile, as his tech finally works, is more than just about wires and screens, it's about reclaiming a sense of purpose. Caregiving once isolated him. Now it binds us all, shared and spoken aloud. Lobster stew is served. Guests raise their bowls like champagne flutes. Laughter rises again. The main coast in all its wind-swept grace wraps us in something whole. Then I turn to the room, heart-full voice, steady. Families fall apart, but they can come back together. Share your story. You never know who needs to hear it. It's not a performance. It's a call, a hand extended to whoever's still holding pain in silence. In the end, I reflect. The old photo in my pocket feels lighter now. Not a weight, but a gift. The fire crackles in the corner, steady as a heartbeat. We fought. We ran. We lied. But we found our way home. Not through perfection, but through truth. Forgiveness didn't come fast. It came in pieces, in a slideshow, in a bowl of stew, in a whispered apology. But it came. This is our moment. Our truth. And I'm staying. Not just for the photo. Not just for the wedding. But for what comes next. I'm home, and this time I'm not leaving. Our embrace at Leora's wedding, framed by Maine's snowy glow, seals our healing. Forgiveness mends what secrets broke Maris's letter. Eldrick's shame my absence. Listening rebuilds families as compassion did ours. Love finds a way even through pain, teaching resilience for life's caregiving struggles. Share your family story, connect, heal like we did.